The world I created is the fantasy world of Hurlmere, filled with many different races and species. All these people have tons of different cultures and ways of life, and they live amongst each other relatively peacefully, even though there is sometimes conflict. The first character of my story is Jing Ironhand, coming from the eastern realms of Man. He's a prince who rules over his kingdom more than his father, and he is very well respected for being a just ruler, but is very firm in his authority as well. Another main character of my story is Reefer Teethmaster, a brutally savage orc. He's the biggest orc of all the orcs, and he is renowned and feared around the world, and is a cruel beast who crushes all that oppose him. He's always looking for a fight, and is always trying to find conflict. The last main character of my story is Durzu the Chosen. He's of unknown origin of all other races around the world, and he came through a portal from the south. He leads thousands of demonic soldiers amongst many fleets aiming to conquer all races and species of the world. There are many different races and species around the world, and we're going to begin with the western realm of Man. These are a somewhat peaceful human tribe that live in the western realm of the main continent. They're mainly woodsmen and foragers, and have very small villages scattered throughout the woods. The next main race we're looking at is the dwarves. They are extremely peaceful and keep to themselves in the mountains in the center of the main continent. They like to party, eat, and drink, and don't look for any trouble amongst any other races. Another main kingdom is the eastern realm of Man. This is led by Jing Ironhand. They are mainly traders and just try to peacefully trade amongst other kingdoms and tribes. But sometimes they find conflict, and that's where Jing Ironhand has become so prevalent. Another race is elves. They're isolated on their own tiny island to the southwest of the main continent, and live somewhat peacefully, barely looking for fights. They sometimes do scatter into the western realms of Man, dwarves and eastern realms of Man, to raid and just steal some loot. Another main race is the Northmen. They live on their own island to the east of the world above the secondary continent. They are extremely notorious for raiding into any lands they can to gather as much loot and gold as possible. They're always fighting and even fight amongst themselves. Another main race is the Dervites. They are the main holders of the secondary continent. They are mainly traders, and they are desert people as well. They have many different city-states scattered across their lands, and they almost have no interaction with the outer world besides trading amongst themselves. Lastly is the orcs of the southern part of the mountainous region of the secondary continent. They're extremely savage people, and they constantly try to fight with the Dervites and even sail across the main sea to get to the main continent. They are led by Reefer Teethmaster, who is always looking for a fight. The last people of the world of Hurlmere are the demons of the south. They are half man, half demon. They are here to conquer all other nations of the world and will stop at nothing. They sail in massive fleets to all stretches of the world, emerging from the portals in the southern realms. They are led by Durzu the Chosen, who is here to rule the world and will stop at nothing until he reaches his goal. The main plot of this story is the invasion of the demons of the south. Their attack, led by Durzu the Chosen from the portal in the southern realms, is extremely swift and instantly begins to wreak havoc on the world. All people that live near the coastline are almost instantly wiped out. This is where our main characters, Jing Ironhand, Reefer Teethmaster, and Durzu himself, come into play. Jing Ironhand, seeing the world being conquered before his eyes, unites all races on the western side of the world, including the western realms, dwarves, and even the elves. He is able to build up a very substantial army, using all of his new allies to begin to successfully thwart the demon invasion. Reefer Teethmaster, even though hated by everyone in the eastern continent, even other orcs, is able to inspire all those that live in the east by his brute strength and victories over the demonic invaders. He is the first one to come face to face with Durzu the Chosen and live. In a brutal fight, he is able to exchange blows with Durzu and make the demons retreat from the mountainous region of the orcs. This inspires the Northmen and the Dervites to unite under Reefer Teethmaster and begin to remove the demons from their lands. After Durzu retreated, the whole world seemed to go silent for 3 days. Any scouts sent to the southern realms to investigate never made it back. On the 4th day of Durzu's retreat, massive portals began to open up around the world, reeking of demonic energy. Dwarves, man, elves, and orcs alike immediately assembled every army and soldier they could muster, and a great flash blinded every single person who assembled. When the flash receded and everyone regained their sight, they realized the portals had transported everyone to the southern realms. Durzu had mustered his demonic energy for 3 days to transport any resistance this world had to offer into one place. Jing Ironhand and his western armies, alongside Reefer Teethmaster and his eastern forces, began to wage total war against the demons of the south. The battle in the southern realms lasted nearly 12 hours until Jing Ironhand and Reefer Teethmaster were nearly back-to-back with only a handful of their forces left. The demonics were waning as well. Only Durzu, the Chosen, and his elite bodyguard were left. Jing and the Great Orc both rushed Durzu together, and after roughly 5 minutes of heated battle, Reefer Teethmaster decapitated the Chosen demon. The portals began to disappear, and all the demons disappeared with it. Once everyone returned to their homeland, the world slowly began to heal and life began to return to normal. But there was always an eerie feeling that was always on the mind of everyone. Will Durzu return?